Thank you so much for joining us today on Connect and Collaborate, where we bring you voices of leaders in collaboration in industry. I'm Tammy Schaefer, your on-air producer, and we've been bringing you special editions of Connect and Collaborate in recent weeks, celebrating the nominees for the first annual Colorado Business Roundtable Collaboration in Industry Awards. And we've also talked about the excitement we have around the awards themselves. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a great collaboration and partnership to create the awards. We're working with the Community College of Denver Advanced Manufacturing Center, and I have Matt Sweeney, Director of the Advanced Manufacturing Center, with me. Matt, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, Tammy.
Absolutely, and we have some of your great students that we'll talk to in a minute. Tell us a little bit about the easy for me to say, Advanced Manufacturing Center at the Community College of Denver.
Sure. It's a 33,000 square foot facility located just off of I-25 and 38. We're kind of tucked around in the corner there, but what we've got going on in that little area is a really booming and thriving education and training center. In that facility, we house our fabrication welding program, which includes a 2-year associate's degree, as well as stackable credentials for folks that are looking to make that transition into the career field. In addition, we also have a machine technologies program that also includes a 2-year Associate of Applied Science in CNC manufacturing, with additional stackable credentials as well. And this spring we'll be launching a quality control and assurance program. It's a certificate intended to support the needs of our business and industry partners.
Wow, you have you're covering all the bases for sure. How long has the Advanced Manufacturing Center been around?
So we opened in July of 2015. That was our soft opening, and we had former Vice President Joe Biden come in and help christen the facility for us. And then we did an official launch and opening in October of 2015, where programming started. And
that's so timely because it seems like there is this move toward advanced manufacturing. There's so much technology changing and improving to, make it more viable for a lot of different companies.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of disruption in the manufacturing industry, and that extends to training providers like ourselves at the AMC, which means that it's really important for us to be collaborative with our business and industry partners to make sure that we're staying on top of more recent local technology trends, and to make sure that the students that are coming out of our program are set up for success in the field of manufacturing.
Now, I would imagine you had many of these trade program, education programs happening, but to bring them all together under one roof, is that what happened in 2015?
Absolutely. So we moved from a former building that had a much smaller footprint, probably closer to about 8,000 square feet. So we've increased the size, which has also increased our capability and capacity to serve more students and fill that middle skills job gap that we're starting to see in our community here.
Right, so you're really responding to a need for these are the kind of jobs that we need to fill in the coming years.
Absolutely. Yeah, in our 2-year associate's degree in CNC manufacturing is one that we've heard a lot of feedback from industry about. There's a great need for CNC programmers out there in the field, as well as our welding students in our welding program as well. But our advisory board was really steering us toward this quality control and assurance certificate because as they increase their capacity and hire more machinists, they need more quality assurance technicians to make sure that the product goes out there the way it was intended.
Well, you mentioned your students. You have 2 wonderful students with you today. Would you introduce them for me?
Yeah, so I've got Austin and I've got Michael here. Both of them are students in our fabrication welding program, and I'll kind of turn it over to them to maybe introduce what they're pursuing in the program.
Perfect.
So I got into the welding fabrication program just because I have a high interest in doing custom fabrication, mainly on vehicles. I want to get into building bikes eventually, and mainly just because I love downhill mountain biking. But also at the same time, just any sort of fabrication. Built a lot of things growing up as a kid with my family, so just wanted to continue that career in general. So that's kind of what sparked my interest.
Great. And Michael, would you care to tell us how you got interested?
Yeah, so this is kind of a career change for me. I have other education degrees and kind of came to the realization that I really like working with my hands. That kind of manual dexterity thing is important to me. So yeah, I kind of stumbled upon welding from YouTube and was like, wow, this could be a fun career path. So yeah, I just did some research, found out that there's pretty much anywhere you look, you see metal welded together, whether it's on a bus for the handrails or in a home for a stairwell. Yeah, there's anywhere. Bicycles, which Austin wants to work on. So I would love to start a business one day once I gain some capital to buy some equipment and have my own business doing some backyard remodeling and fabrication of different things for that.
Do you think entering the advanced manufacturing program at CCD was this? Did you look at what the kind of the need and the call for trade, skilled trade labor? I mean, this is a definite skill. Did you kind of see that and go like, oh, okay, here's a future. Like, I may have other skills, but these are going to be in demand. Yeah.
So I talked to a guy through just my networking that said his understanding about 70% of the workforce in welding is going to retire in the next 10 years.
Exactly.
So I just saw really good job security there. So.
Well, yes, and I've mentioned many times we talk with Stephanie Beck from the Colorado Workforce Development Council on a regular basis here, and that's one of the numbers she frequently cites is where so many of these skilled trades are going to be leaving the workforce due to retirement age, whatever, and we don't have enough people to fill those roles.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, having this facility and this opportunity, the more that we get our name out there with the Advanced Manufacturing Center, and when our employer contacts do get to come in and see our facility and some of the technologies that we have there, we start fielding a lot more questions and interest in, well, how can I work with the AMC to fill my needs as well?
Perfect. We'll talk more about that later in the show. And coming up in the next segment, I want to talk about the project you're all working on together. It seems to be a great collaboration through the Advanced Manufacturing Center to create the Collaboration and Industry Awards. So stick with us. We'll be right back talking to CCD AMC. We're so glad you're staying with us today as we talk with the creators of the Colorado Business Roundtable Collaboration and Industry Awards. Now, of course, the Colorado Business Roundtable has come up with the concept for the Collaboration and Industry Awards, and we've asked the Community College of Denver Advanced Manufacturing Center to help us create the physical awards. I have Matt Sweeney here. He's the director of AMC. Matt, glad to have you.
Thanks for having us.
And Donald Wood, he's assistant professor of welding at Advanced Manufacturing Center at CCD. Donald?
Good morning.
Good to see you. And then we're also talking with Michael Robertson. He's one of the students in the welding department, or welding program, I should say. Yes. So I want to talk, Matt and Donald, tell us about, I don't know, how did it come about to, as the Colorado Business Roundtable approached you to maybe make these awards?
Yeah, so and Jeff has a relationship with our president, Everett Freeman, and he had approached Everett during a conversation about this collaboration and industry event, and I believe it was Everett who suggested that maybe our team could fabricate the award for it. So over at the AMC, we love a challenge, and when the president said, "Is this something that we can do?" we said, "Sure, let's get everyone together and see what the timeline is and what we're able to produce." So it was in late October, or actually the first week of November, where we were.
So we gave you all the notice in the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We love a challenge, right?
First it's a challenge, then it's a time challenge.
Over a holiday break, by the way.
Sweet.
So added complexity, no problem.
Oh.
But the Colorado Business Roundtable team of Lisa, Tim, and Jeff all came out and kind of talked to us about what they were seeking in this award and really what collaboration in industry meant to them and what they were trying to accomplish in this award. And it allowed me and my team, which also included Donald Woody, Eric Miller, who's the chair of our Machine Technologies program, and Sue Samuelson, who is the director of our creative services. We all got together, kind of heard really what the philosophy was behind this event and what you were trying to achieve. And we were able to work with the Colorado Business Roundtable team to take the concept design and kind of fabricate it using the technology and the kind of the capital, the expertise, the labor that we have in our facility.
Now, we know we maybe sprung it on you a little bit in terms of time, but Donald, can you tell us, how do you work together with that concept? Did we interrupt your, what your syllabus was for the semester to create this?
Yes and no, but we, at AMC, we've got a real good relationship between the machine shop and ourselves. So speaking with Eric, Tim and Lisa, we came up with what they were wanting to provide for the award. We inputted our ideas. We came up with a mock-up within a few days, asked Tim and Lisa to come out. They took a look at it, gave us a couple changes that they wanted to do, and we moved forward from there.
So not too big an interruption, but also, well, I think, and we'll say it again, it was such a great opportunity to collaborate on this, and not only with the Colorado Business Roundtable, but with your different departments within the Advanced Manufacturing Center. What did you bring together?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this project became this great opportunity to really maybe interrupt our regularly scheduled programming in a sense. So students are in classes, they are in labs, but a lot of our work is really project based, and so some students excel and really push through those projects faster, and it allows go ahead, Woody.
What it allowed us to do is the students, especially in the machine shop, in the welding program, we don't have the type of machinery that they use. Okay, there are specific mounting parts that had to be actually machined in order to simplify it, to hold pieces together that the welding department didn't have, which allowed the two departments to work together. It's at building that specific part.
Exactly.
And so it also becomes this great opportunity for our students to get some experience kind of learning on the job in a sense. So as they're brought in on the project and we're saying, hey, for production, these are all of the items that we need to put together in this timeline, Woody was able to identify students like Michael and Austin who were
they have specific talents.
Absolutely.
Okay, that we're able to create the things that we needed to do in a very short time. So Mike helped out with certain parts, used a certain programming, AutoCAD, which allowed us to input to a CNC plasma, which reduces our time cut and the whole thing.
Yeah, the computer just takes care of all of it. So long as your G-code and your DXF file is accurate to specifications, you pretty much nest your parts together, hit start, and the whole machine just cuts out all the pieces for you. So.
And this gives them real-world experience.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking it might be kind of cool for that to be added onto your resume that you created an award.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Michael, you mentioned some of the things that went right over my head and how to create this product. But I love it because you know it so well, and it's second nature to you at this point. What has it been like working together on this project to create a physical award that's probably different than most of the awards we see that are either on a wood plaque or some glass etching or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun. This is actually our second trophy that Woody, Austin, and I have worked together, but it's probably a lot more intricate than the last one.
A lot more.
Yeah, so our first project, we used the CNC table. It's a computerized cutting machine with a plasma cutter. So you can get really intricate designs done really fast, very precisely over and over again. So Yeah, that's probably the big contribution I've done to this project and both projects, is kind of making sure the design is working right, that the kerf is the part of the metal that's cut away. If that's off a little bit, then it can kind of ruin your shape, ruin the design, so we had to compensate for that a little bit in some of these designs. But
So you're making multiple awards. Is it once you get the design down and the process down, are you able to kind of cut them off? Or I'm saying cut them off.
well,
So I'm sure
it's
they're
a piece
laser
of
cut
sheet metal,
and,
yeah.
yes.
So it's a piece of sheet metal, and then we just kind of polish it up, make sure
Yeah.
all the burrs are off, and then
What I'm
when it
saying is,
comes
are you
to-
able to reproduce them quickly once
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got that first? Okay, here's our template that worked. Now
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
mass produce them a little bit more.
Just as long as you have the metal to cut, yeah, you can do multiple. I think we made about 7 of our first trophy, and we are working on about 14 for this current
this
trophy.
one.
Yeah.
And they're all being cut at once.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's being cut at once.
Fantastic. Matt Sweeney, tell me a little bit more about bringing these two programs together to work on such a project. What benefits of working together and that real world experience, but what have the challenges been?
Oh, absolutely. So in our industry, another manufacturing program that we have is called engineering graphics, and that's more the design element of manufacturing. And in a normal environment, your designer or engineer needs to speak with the machinist, needs to speak with the fabricator, and they all have to be communicating in the same language. So what this project really presented to us was an opportunity to mimic that environment. So if the designer doesn't design it for manufacturability, then it can't be machined on the far end, or there might be flaws in it that need to be tweaked, and it could really slow down production time. So when it came to collaboration on this project, it allowed Woody was kind of the champion in taking the project from both sides and recruiting students from both the welding side, and we had a couple of students on our machining technologies program side also helping us with this project. So Woody was able to speak with the chair of the machine technologies program to say, here's a design tweak that'll make us be able to produce this in the constraints of time and budget. And the machining chair could say, well, I could do this and that and this, or the faculty member could say, I could do this and that and this to support it. And then once that prototype and final design is established, then we could work with students to not only fabricate the prototype, but accelerate the number of awards that we're pumping out.
Yeah. Well, I love it because you had to have all these conversations ahead of developing the project. Okay, who's going to work on this, and what's going to be required?
Absolutely.
And then to keep those conversations going throughout the production of the.
And it's been a challenge, especially trying to teach our students what they're supposed to be learning at the present time. So and involve them in the building of the trophy.
It is a challenge. Woody, Woody is, I guess, your affectionate name, right?
Yes.
Are you glad you took the project on?
Of course, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I have over 40 years of experience in the welding field. I'm always up for a good challenge. It brings out the best in me. So
yeah, and
I enjoy it.
And I would also say that opportunities like this give us a chance to, especially working with customers or clients that don't have a short lead time. I mean, this is an experience for us to understand that lead time. We had a month or less. But, for those that are looking for projects that they would like to see our students do or work on, it can expose students to the full process of managing a client and producing the item.
Fantastic. We are talking with Matt Sweeney and Donald Wood of the Community College of Denver Advanced Manufacturing Center. We're glad to have you. And we're talking about the award that they're creating for the Colorado Business Roundtable Collaboration in Industries. And I just think it's such a great collaboration for our business between your place of education, working that together, and then bringing your programs together to help make this happen. We're going to talk more also with Michael Robertson and Austin Schmelzer, I say Schmelzer right, who are the students also working on the project. And we'll be back with more here on Connect and Collaborate. Stay with us. Thanks so much for staying with us today as we're talking with the Community College of Denver and the Advanced Advanced Manufacturing Center, and we're talking with them about our Colorado Business Roundtable Collaboration and Industry Awards because they're making the awards. Matt Sweeney, it's so great to have you here.
Yeah, wonderful.
Along with Donald Wood.
Thank you.
And now we have another one of the students, Austin Schmelzer, a student in the welding and fabrication. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
We've been talking about how we kind of, with only a moment's notice, asked you to help make this award for our Collaboration and Industry Awards, the physical trophy or physical award that we're going to be handing out. And if we threw you off of your regular syllabus, I want to apologize for the rapid turnaround we asked for. I wonder, Matt, how many other companies come to you asking for projects or random projects like this?
Well, we do get a lot of interest coming to us, and they come from various sources too. So sometimes we'll get an individual community member that'll come to us and ask if we can repair a tow.
Like a tow hitch? Or
tow hitch, yeah, and or smaller projects, sometimes sculptures to be repaired, or a few minor things, bike parts, and then we also do get larger organizations that come to us with requests like awards. Woody has a story to share about a gym that approached him to see if he could design and develop an award for them.
About 3 months ago, a organization called the Phoenix put out on social media if anybody could help them produce an award within a certain amount of time. And I responded, and we ended up making their awards. It's their actual logo on a base. Michael and Austin both worked on that same project. So it's things like that is what we do. We worked on skateboard rails for Netherlands to go into a skate park, a go-kart for an individual.
Well, and some of those projects I imagine are maybe a lot of fun for your students because maybe they have interest in skateboard parks, and to be able to build it or build something that they've maybe seen in their own mind of this would be great. How do we create that? Right.
I mean, it definitely helps with like learning how to come up with an idea to fabricate something.
Right.
Like after we did the first trophy, I ended up actually building a bench for one of the instructors because she had an old snowboard that she's like, I want to turn this into a bench. And I'm like, well, that'd be a fun project to just take on and figure out the actual fabrication and the way how to design it, without having to put too much work into it or too much thought. Sometimes you kind of over-exaggerate on an idea and you're like, I'm going to do all this, this, and this, but it's like sometimes it just comes down to the basics, like all I need is this part here, that there, I need it structure-wise. So it definitely helps making these little projects here and there, kind of figuring out just what you need and not overcomplicating it.
Right, some of that simplicity is the true design, and then knowing what you can do that's basic will take you to the next step when you want something more intricate, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And all of these requests, again, give us an opportunity to integrate this stuff either with the curriculum or alongside the curriculum. So as our students are learning certain techniques, especially in the welding program, they're working on the fluency of the skill. They're developing muscle memory, working on techniques and important details. And injecting projects like this allows for them to kind of see the bigger picture of that skill development that they have there. It also kind of unleashes a new element of creativity.
I was going to say, if you have companies coming to you with a random request or is this possible, it gets all of your students that ability to open their mind and see what they can come up with. Absolutely.
And even in our machine technology side, we do get budding inventors that come and they'll come with designs and drawings and consult with our chair about, is this manufacturable, and if so, can you make it? And we have some pretty advanced equipment in our machine technology side too that can be a service to a lot of our business and industry partners too. We do non-credit training. One of our business or company partners too has been asking us to assist in some of their projects because we can increase their capacity by doing some short or some low volume runs for them or prototypes that can just expand their own internal capacity.
Are you able then to just kind of inject some of these ideas and requests into your curriculum then? Because I'm sure many of the requests then go along what you wanted to teach. You just maybe have to approach it from a different angle now.
Yeah, well, a great example of how that occurred with this project is that the day that Tim and Lisa came out to kind of see the prototype that was established, it also just so happened to be an opportunity for them to peek in on our CAD/CAM 3D course, which is more of an advanced course for our CNC programming students. And the instructor had this design up on the screen and was walking students through the process of taking this design, putting it into the Mastercam software that we use, and how to be mindful of details, make tweaks to designs, and run through the code on how this particular project will be machined or manufactured in our facility.
That's great. Now, we've been and we will remain to be secretive on exactly what this award is going to look like until tomorrow, December 7th. But can you give us, some of those ideas, where you maybe had to do something, different finishes or different, cuts, or you tell me.
Powder coating.
Yes.
We start out with raw materials. We have a specific powder coater that we use. We had to find out time frame before we could even really say, yes, we can do this for you, because they have a time frame.
Right.
So I went out, showed them exactly what we were working on, got the time frame what they were going to be able to produce it in, which I get to pick up, and continue my assembly of it on time. So
is powder coating a lengthy process? I mean, is there a certain dry time or how long heat has to be on it? Or I'm just throwing random questions out there. I have no idea how you do this.
Color differences.
Sure.
You can't powder coat two different powder coating colors at the same time.
Okay.
So we're running multiple powder coats, which they're needing time in order to do that. That was the biggest thing.
Right.
What was their time frame as far as what other jobs do they have that they're going to have to do prior to getting to ours?
Right. Either reset the color, change that out, or
So.
Yeah, and we also had to make design tweaks to fit with our production schedule.
Okay.
So, for example, the original design had a hovering element to it. And based off of what we were able to kind of map out with our production schedule and what we were able to achieve, we had to tweak that in a way that added a different mounting mechanism for the award, and it allowed us to kind of tweak that design in a manner that still kept with the integrity of the intention of the design and the philosophy around the design, but allowed us to fit it into some constraint.
Manage our time on it.
Right.
Because with that hovering device, it would have increased the time that we were needing to complete them.
Austin, are you working on this project hands-on? What challenges have you encountered?
I mean, mainly just more or less figuring out the design, like they're saying, with the hovering mechanism, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we don't have time for that, so we have to change it up and go at it a different approach. So reworking what we had already had laid out to start with. We had one sort of base initially designed out. We were going to bend everything together and weld up the seams, but then we're like, well, that's going to be a little bit too time consuming. Let's go at it with this approach. So we had to, take a step back and go back at it at a different angle.
I admire all of you, because you have to be nimble to make all of this work, and we're so excited to see how this award has turned out. I love being kind of vague on this, and we'll be happy to see everyone's reactions very soon. We'll be back with more from Community College of Denver and the Advanced Manufacturing Center. Stay with us here on Connect and Collaborate. Thanks so much for staying with us today as we're talking with Matt Sweeney from Community College of Denver, Advanced Manufacturing Center. And one of the reasons we're talking with you today, first of all, what you're doing with the Advanced Manufacturing Center is amazing. You have so many wonderful programs within there. But we're bringing you on today to talk about, in part, the award you're creating for the Colorado Business Roundtable Collaboration and Industry Awards. It's a great collaboration, pulling not only education in with the Colorado Business Roundtable to have this created, but having your students work together through different programs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pretty fantastic experience for us. I mean, one thing that we really try to cultivate at that center is collaboration. And we've been talking a little bit about some of the outside products that we get, and or even requests, from failed requests. Sometimes we've had an MMA gym reach out to us asking if one of our students could go out and repair their cage. We've had another manufacturer come to our machining program and say, hey, can you machine this mold for us? And if so, how much would it cost? So some of these projects that have come to us, and we said, yeah, we can explore them, or it just doesn't make the right sense. We don't have the right, we can't meet that turnaround time. Even that's a learning experience for our students. So this sort of collaboration means that some of the curriculum that we have set up in our 2-year associate's degrees for students includes different courses that sometimes feel or can seem disconnected. So for example, we do have some CAD programming on site, or courses in software like SolidWorks, which is a pretty common software that we use in our welding, in our machining, and even our engineering graphics programs. So students who have taken those courses or been exposed to those courses have been able to take those skills and apply it to, or put it to use in this project. So that level of collaboration has been really fantastic, and it allows us to use a lot of our latest technology that we have in both sides of the house.
I really appreciate what you're saying about, you get a number of requests from different areas, and some you have to reject. But what I appreciate what you said is that still gets the students involved.
Definitely.
Can we do this in this time frame? And they probably have to fate it out, figure it out to the degree that no, it's not worth our time right now, or so that's another education.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, our faculty members are absolutely fantastic, and all of them have varying degrees of experience and areas of expertise. So really, I think what we offer to the community is a level of expertise through experience that is just a great value added. And so when these requests come in, it kind of filters through our faculty team about, well, is this something that we can incorporate either into our curriculum or do on the side, or work with one of our student work studies on, or some more advanced students if they have the capacity to do this work. And it allows us to identify, well, what's a good fit? Can we do this project? Can we do it in the time constraint? And how much can we involve the student in the project?
And I want to talk a little bit more about your students. We have 2 of your great students here. Michael Robertson is a student in welding. Austin Schmelzer, student in welding and fabrication. And first, Matt, I want to ask you, what is your student body makeup at this point? We've talked about the need for advanced manufacturing in not just the Colorado economy, but throughout our country. Do you have a lot of new students? This is where they're coming straight through from high school. You have a lot of students returning that are kind of re-careering. What's your makeup right now?
I think what's most fantastic about our programs would be the diversity of students that we do get coming through our programs from all walks of life. So as Michael mentioned, he kind of transitioned careers to get into this program, and I think Austin did a little bit of that himself, getting into the welding program. But even in our machining side, almost 50% of our students are already in the field working in some capacity in that environment. Many of them are machinists, manual, or CNC operators, and they're coming in to skill up. I even have there's a student in my machining technologies program that is employed as a custodian at a manufacturing environment, and he wants to get into the machining department at that manufacturing environment. So he's working on developing those skills so he can move up in his career.
Seize an opportunity.
Yeah.
Let's ask your students, Michael and Austin, tell us a little bit again what attracted you to this program and what you see for your future in advanced manufacturing.
Yeah, well, I researched quite a few schools that teach welding in the Denver area and decided with Community College of Denver, primarily because they're the only one that offers certification in different welding processes. And to be able to go to an employer and say, I already have a certification, you don't have to front the cost of getting me certified in this process is phenomenal. Because like, oh, you know what you're doing. Like, if you have it already, I know you're going to be a good worker. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
I can agree on that because, I mean, like I said before, I've built stuff growing up. You know, my dad's a general contractor, and at one point used to be a welder. You know, kind of just saw that as an opportunity. Like, I really want to do things. And like Mike said before, doing a career change, I used to be in the craft beer scene out here and got to a point where I was just like, you know, I could do more with my hands and want to be more creative instead of, you know, being on just as a server in a sense. But at the same time, you know, started looking at schools, went around to a couple of them, noticed that a lot of them are just, they teach you how to weld, but you don't walk out with certifications. And I've actually talked with several people around town, and one guy specifically just said, just show me your certification and I'll give you a job, you know. And that's, you know, you'll come across that a lot more often than not. I mean, there are certain jobs and industries where they are like, well, we need this specific certification that you don't already have, but you already have certifications, so it doesn't seem like it'd be an issue for us to go ahead and give you that job opportunity.
Right, because you can indicate very well that you're up to the task and you'll be certified in no time.
Yeah, it's an industry standard
Yes,
certification.
okay.
So the industry just knows, oh, everything is, they're all the same. All these skills are transferable. So
that's wonderful. Talk about, Matt, if you will, talk about some of the different programs, the different technologies, and you did touch on that already. But I think, you know, when I think of welding, I think of my dad out in his machine shop, you know, fixing the tongue on a wagon or something on his combine or what have you. And as we were kind of joking during the break, I'm like, I'm sure his welds were ugly and hairy and not quite what you guys are teaching here. I wonder if he'd be able to be certified in the quality.
Yeah,
aspect.
absolutely. So I'll actually speak to what our machine technologies department has, and then I'll toss it over to our students to speak to what the welding technology looks like. In our machine technologies program, actually all of our students start on manual lathes and mills, which is probably what your father had. And so they kind of learn the art of machining and the theory of machining on those manuals. And after one semester, they move into our CNC machine programming. So that information exposes them to a lot of the advanced equipment that we have at our facility. That includes 5-axis machines, multi-axis lathes. We have wire EDMs, which is an advanced curriculum that we've developed recently this year, and we're offering it in a kind of a non-credit format to some of our employer partners. It's a technology that is primarily found in healthcare or the medical device industry and aerospace. So some of our partners have that machine in there, and they may have one operator who uses that machine who's probably pretty close to retirement. So it positions really our facility very well to be a value added to the community, the manufacturing community in particular.
Michael, Austin, give us some aspects that you have in the welding program.
I mean, a nice thing that the program starts off with is cutting, and then teaches you kind of more or less the basics with oxyacetylene welding, which is just gas welding, not using machines that provide electricity, and which then you eventually move into more of the advanced type of machinery, learning about the machines and the processes that you can do with each machine themselves, which is kind of gives you the whole run through of everything for the most part.
yeah, so there's 3 processes that we kind of hone in on and perfect our skills. Austin mentioned oxyacetylene. That's kind of the get your feet wet. Can you actually, is this something for you? Because it's kind of like an outdated process. When we get into the more of the arc welding, there's tungsten gas arc welding, affectionately known as TIG welding, and that's a kind of the most precise. You have the most control over your welding. Then there's MIG welding with a gun and stick welding with electrodes. So it's been fun to learn every kind.
Wonderful. It looks like they have, looks like Community College of Denver Advanced Manufacturing Center has, you know, everything they need to learn for their certification. I like the certification badges. So whoever's hiring knows exactly what they're getting.
Absolutely.
From the student. And we thank you so much for being with us here today to talk about what we're working on, and we're very excited to see the awards you're coming up with for the Collaboration and Industry Awards. So we thank you so much for that collaboration as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for listening. Have a great day.